Daf Yomi, Tractate, Bava, Batra, page 174a, top of the page, Daf Kuf Ayin Dalid, A, Kuf Ayin Dalid, Aleph, with the words Rabban Shimon ben Gamliel Omer. Rav Shimon ben Gamliel Omer, Im yesh nechasim leloive, echazeh v'chazeh lo yipa behen. Rabban Shimon ben Gamliel says, if the debtor has property, in both this case and in that case, in other words, whether the guarantor is a standard guarantor or an unconditional guarantor, the creditor cannot collect the debt from either type of guarantor. Amar Rabba bar Chana, Amar Rabba bar Chana. Amar Rav Yochanan. Kol makam shishana Rav Shimon ben Gamliel b'mishnaseinu halacha kemoisoi chutz mi'orev v'tzaydon u'rayo achoino. Rabba bar Chana. It's interesting because it's usually Rabba bar Chana. Very often it's like that. I wonder if it's the same person, or if it's a mistake. Or if it's a mistake, I mean, why, how did it get to that double, like that double bar version? Is there a reason behind that? It's Amar Rabba bar Chana. And here it says Rabba bar Chana. So was his name Rabba bar Chana? Or was his name Rabba bar Chana? Amar Rabba bar Chana. It only happens one time. And they think that I wouldn't catch that. I'm saying, not me. I'm saying. They think that people, I'm sure maybe other people caught it too. I caught that. Maybe other people caught it too. It's a question. Why is it that on Daf 174, is it Rabba bar Chana? Amar Rabba bar Chana Amar Rabbi Yochanan. It's a question that's going to go down for the books. Bava Batra 174a. It's a question. Okay. Anyway. Okay. Rav bar Chana says that Rabbi Yochanan says, whenever Rabban Shimon ben Gamliel taught a halacha in the corpus of our Mishnah, the halacha is in accordance with his opinion, except for the following three cases: the responsibility of the guarantor, and the incident that occurred in the city of Tzaidan, see Gittin 74a, and the dispute with regard to evidence in the final disagreement. See Sanhedrin 31a. Amar Rav Huna, halavai v'ani arev, halavai v'ani poreya, halavai v'ani chayev, halavai v'ani noisen, kulon loshon al hosein. The Gemara discusses which expressions confer upon a person the status of a standard guarantor and which confer the status of an unconditional guarantor. Rav Huna says that if one says to a potential creditor, lend money to him and I'm a guarantor, or lend money to him and I will repay the debt, or lend money to him and I am obligated to repay the debt, or lend money to him and I will give the money back to you, all these are expressions that confer the status of a standard guarantee. Ten li v'ani kablon, ten li v'ani poirea, ten lo v'ani chayav, ten lo v'ani noisen, kulam lashen kablonusu. Hey, if one says, give money to him, and I am an unconditional guarantor, or give money to him, and I will repay the debt, or give money to him, and I am obligated to repay the debt, or give money to him, and I will give money back to you. All these are expressions that confer the status of an unconditional guarantee. The use of the word give, as opposed to lend, confers the status of an unconditional guarantor. Ten A dilemma was raised before the sages. What is the halakha if one says, lend money to him, and I am an unconditional guarantor? On the one hand, the word lend is used as opposed to give, but on the other hand, he explicitly states he will be an unconditional guarantor. What is the halakha if one says, give money to him, and I am a guarantor? On the other hand, the word give is used as opposed to lend. But on the other hand, he states that he will be a guarantor. Amar Rabbi Yitzchak, Lashon Arvus. Arvus Lashon Kablanus. Kablanus, Rabbi Yitzchak says, in resolving this dilemma, when one employs the language of a standard guarantee, it is a standard guarantee, even if he also used the word give. And when one employs the language of an unconditional guarantee, it is an unconditional guarantee, even if he also used the word lend. Rav Chizda Omar, Kula Lashekapayete, Bar Melabayavani Olive. Rav Chizda says all the expressions mentioned in this discussion are expressions of an unconditional guarantee, except for lend money to him and I am a guarantor. Rava Omar, Kula Lashon the same. Bar mi Tain lo vani nosein. Rava says all the expressions mentioned in this discussion are expressions of a standard guarantee, except for give money to him and I will give the money back to you. Amar le mar bar amemar l'Rav Ashi haki amar abba. Ten lo vani notein ein malve al lo v'klum. Bar amemar says Rav Ashi, my father said the following: if one says give money to him and I will give the money back to you, this expression binds the guarantor to such an extent that the lender has no claim against the debtor at all. His only option is to collect the debt from the guarantor. V'lo hayalo miftar lo v'minei demal v'achi yisa v'izin v'yad. The Gemara rejects the last statement, but that is not so. Rather, the debtor is not exempted from dealing with the creditor unless the guarantor takes the money from the creditor and gives it to the debtor with his own hand. Ahu diana da'achari l'mal v'nechse b'kami dilboy l'lai v'salke Rav Chanin b'reid Rav Yevo. The Gemara relates, there was once a certain judge who permitted a creditor to enter the debtor's property and collected for his debt long before lodging a claim against the debtor himself. Rav Chanin, the son of Rav Yeva, overruled that judge and expelled the creditor from the seized property. Amarava man chakim lemevad ki hamilsa ilav Rav Chanin bereid Rav Yeva kasova nechse de bar inish inhu me'avin yase ustina malve es chaveroi al yedei orev lo yipora min orev v'kaim melon lo yisav orev techilo. When Rava heard about this, he said, who is wise enough to perform such a matter? In other words, to issue this ruling, if not Rav Chanin, the son of Rav Yeva? He holds it. That person's property is a guarantee for him, meaning that it acts as a guarantor for the loan if the debtor does not repay it. And we learned in the Mishnah, one who lends money to another with the assurance of a guarantor cannot collect the debt from the guarantor, and we established that the Mishnah means that he cannot collect the debt from the guarantor as at the outset, before seeking payment from the debtor himself. So too, he cannot collect the debt by taking the debtor's property without first seeking payment from the debtor himself. The Gemara relates, there was a certain guarantor for orphans whose father bestowed money and died, and the orphans were minors. And this guarantor repaid the debt to the creditor before informing the orphans that he was repaying the debt for them. The guarantor now sought reimbursement from the orphans. Amar Rav Papa, Prius Malchoiv Mitzvah Vyasmilav Bene Ma'amad Mitzvah Ninu. Rav Papa said, repaying a creditor is a mitzvah, and orphans who are minors are not obligated in performing a mitzvah. They, therefore, do not have to repay any debts owed by their deceased father until they reach the age of majority. Rav Huna Bereder Yehoshua Amal Ama Eimar Tzarei At B'Sei, and Rav Huna, son of Yehoshua, also said that the orphans do not have to repay the guarantor until reaching majority, but for a different reason. Say that perhaps the deceased gave bundles of money to his creditor before his death, and therefore some of the debt has been paid as long as they are minors, and the heirs would not be aware of this payment, but upon reaching majority there is a chance that they may examine their father's papers and discover that their father has done this. Therefore, payment is deferred until they reach majority.